Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome to 365 Live. My name is Kamin, and I will be the host for tonight's live session. 365 Live is a platform where we educate the public on cancer and encourage a cancer prevention lifestyle. Whenever you see this logo, you'll know that 365 Cancer Prevention Society is currently having a live broadcast. Tonight's talk on healthy minds, happy life is specially brought to you by our associate counselor, Mark Tan from 365 Cancer Prevention Society. 365 Cancer Prevention Society has been committed to serving the community through holistic cancer prevention measures since 2003. This is accomplished through health and nutrition education, promotion of healthy lifestyle, and our 365 rhythmic stretching exercise. We also provide practical and emotional support and care for our clients and their family members in their battle against cancer through our residential and hospital visitation, counseling services, nutrition consultation, and wellness services. So please like, share, and comment on all our social media pages for the latest updates on our events and activities. Upcoming events. So 365 CPS has been championing early detection. That's why we have introduced My First Screenings, a series of screening campaigns that empowers individuals to proactively take steps towards early detection and a healthier future. So unfortunately, not everyone has access to these essential screenings due to financial constraints. Please help us bridge this gap. Right now, we are facing a critical shortage of funds. If you are keen to support these initiatives and fund screenings, feel free to take out your phones and scan the QR code to donate. I'll give you a few moments to do so. Please donate generously as a donation will go a long way in helping a child, parent, or caregiver around you receive the treatment and support they will need. I would also like to take this time to remind you that all information shared at this event by the speaker and 365 CPS are general information only and subject to changes. Do consult your doctor for personalized and detailed medical advice. So, without further ado, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce tonight's speaker, Mr. Mark Tan, Associate Counselor from 365 Cancer Prevention Society. He will be sharing on the topic of healthy minds, happy life. If you have any questions, feel free to post yours in the chat and we will address your questions during the Q&A session. So, let's see. Are we ready to have Mark on screen?
Hi, Carmen. Hello.
Hello, Mark.
Hi,
Thank you so
Carmen.
much for joining us today. Okay, so
All right.
without further ado, I will pass the time to Mark for him to share his knowledge with everyone here today. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so thanks, Carmen, for the kind introduction. Good evening to all of you tuning in. My name is Mark, and thank you once again for tuning in. Let me briefly introduce what I do in my job as an associate counselor with 365 CPS. I provide counseling to our cancer members and their caregivers. I also conduct mental health talks and workshops to our cancer members, as well as to members of the public. Some of these workshops that I conduct include relaxation techniques and other stress coping skills. So if you are interested to find out more about our counseling services, we'll be providing ways that you can reach out to us towards the end of this talk. So I believe everyone here watching in tonight will be interested in finding out how to have a healthy mind so that we can be happy individuals leading fulfilled lives. So, however, there seem to be so many stresses coming from all directions in our world today, such as increased competition in the job market and also uncertainty due to world events such as wars, pandemics, etc., etc. So, this might have led us to compare ourselves with others and jumping to worst possible case scenarios. But there is good news. We can choose to adapt our mindsets to effectively meet and flow with the demands of our world today, which will be what we will be covering tonight. So here is a gentle reminder that all contents provided in this presentation is only for general information only. kindly seek the advice of your doctor or a mental health professional should you have any questions regarding any mental health related queries. Okay, so tonight we'll be covering 5 segments. First, we will find out what exactly is the mindset. Second, we will explore the 2 different types of mindset. Then followed by the third one, we shall discover the impacts of unhealthy mindset and why we should avoid having an unhealthy mindset. Fourth, we shall see the benefits of a healthy mindset and why we should work towards attaining a healthy mindset. And last of all, we will learn some tips to help us better attain a healthier mindset. So, do you agree whether this statement is true? That creating a healthy mindset is an investment in your overall well being. So, you can type in the comment section at the bottom right corner on how do you view this statement. Do you agree with it or you disagree with this? Yeah, just feel free to have an open discussion here. Yeah, maybe give everyone around half a minute to do so. Like maybe just yes or no, agree, disagree. Yeah. So I see that Kelvin he mentioned yes. Okay, agreed. Right. Any other responses? Anyone disagrees with this statement? Okay, so it seems that largely is agree, yes, right? Okay, so we know that this is a rather straightforward statement, lah. It's like very foolproof. We all will agree with this. But before we want to dive deeper into understanding how to create a healthier mindset, we first need to know what is a mindset and how does our mindset form, right? So now we will have a look at the definition of mindset. Okay, so mindset is a set of beliefs that influences the way we think, and the way that we think will in turn affect the way we feel and behave. So it's very straightforward. Let's say we have a healthy mindset. So when we have a healthy mindset, our thoughts will be healthy, right? And when our thoughts are healthy, our feelings and behaviors will follow suit. It will also be healthy, it will also be helpful behaviors. But however, if we have an unhealthy mindset, then our thoughts will be unhealthy, the way that we feel will be negative, and the behavior following suit will also be unhelpful. Yeah. But then, how do we develop our mindset? How does it form across our lifespan? Okay, so we will be covering three lifespan stages. The first stage will be at the child stage. When we are a child, we learn things about life just by watching and relating to our family members. Okay, so it's more like modeling, mirroring of the people around us. Okay, so giving an example as a child, how we get our mindset. So if our parents work hard and are financially successful, we would hold the belief that monetary success is important, right? Yeah, can be other kinds of beliefs also, but at childhood, it's especially susceptible that we internalize some of these beliefs. And as we gradually go into adolescence, into youth, our thinking becomes more independent. We have our own set of values and beliefs, but it's still influenced by the surrounding people, maybe our peers, maybe our parents, maybe our teachers, even. Yeah. So, for example, giving an example, your parents believe that becoming a doctor guarantees a secure future. However, you may disagree with them and continue to explore your own interest in other fields. Maybe you feel that art is my kind of thing, dancing keeps me motivated, right? And gives me a purpose and sense of meaning in life, right? So, this is what happened in the adolescence. And as we enter into adulthood, many of these thoughts and beliefs become ingrained into our mindsets. Okay, so giving an example, okay, so growing up, you were often labeled as a failure by your own parents because you didn't do well in your academics and you didn't end up becoming a doctor. And as an adult, maybe despite overcoming many challenges and accomplishing many of the life stones, I mean, the life's milestones in your life, you still see yourself as a failure. Okay, so we see that certain beliefs can be reinforced into the mindset when continually exposed throughout the growing up years. Okay, so slowly it get reinforced and reinforced. As an adult, it becomes very apparent, these beliefs and these thoughts. Okay, so now that we understand what is a mindset, what are the different types of mindset? Okay, so there are two mindsets that we'll be covering today. Is the fixed and the growth mindset. For fixed mindset, what is it, right? You will ask. It believes that our abilities are fixed traits that cannot be changed. Okay, so you are born with it, or you don't have the talent, you don't have the ability. Yeah, it's either you have it or you don't. So this is characteristic of a fixed mindset. Okay, and next we will move on to growth mindset. Okay, so growth mindset believes that our talents and abilities can be developed over time. Okay, so although you don't have it right now, yeah, as long as you have enough practice, you hone the skill, you have enough experience, you will be able to do it. So it's very important to take note that everyone is a mixture of both fixed and growth mindset lah. It's not just one or the other. However, you can be more inclined towards one or the other. Okay. So what are the differences between the two mindsets? Okay, so we'll be using 4 characteristics to separate them out, to differentiate between the two. Okay, so first of all, we want to talk about challenges. When the person is faced with challenge for a fixed mindset, this individual will avoid challenges and easily give up. They will just throw in the towel. However, individuals with growth mindset, they will just embrace the challenge, even though it's scary. Okay, and they will persevere in learning. They will keep wanting to upskill and believe that one day they will be able to achieve and overcome these challenges. Okay, so the second characteristic is feedback. For someone with fixed mindset, they may ignore feedback altogether. They may easily become defensive, offended. Why you suddenly tell me this? Does it mean that you are jealous of me or you hate me? And it becomes very personal. But individuals with growth mindset, they appreciate this feedback and treat it as an opportunity to learn, okay, rather than viewing it as a criticism. Then the third characteristic is in terms of effort wise. Okay, so individuals with fixed mindset, they will try to avoid efforts at changing, okay, because they view that change is something futile because they are already born with what they have already. It's impossible that I can build other skill sets. I can have other kinds of abilities and strengths. But individuals with growth mindset, they effortfully want to improve themselves and accept all of these challenges, right? Even though it's scary. And last of all, regarding successes of others, right? So individuals with fixed mindset, they may feel threatened by other people's success. So weak eye lah, in short, they feel threatened and they feel jealous about other people's successes. Whereas for individuals with growth mindset, they are inspired by other people and they learn from other people's successes so that they themselves can be successful as well, right? Yeah, so now we come to talk about the impacts of these two respective mindsets. Okay, so first of all, a fixed mindset, it can lead to negative and self-defeating perceptions. So there may be self-sabotaging, they may feel that I can never do this or do that. And this sort of limits their growth by them remaining stagnant in their comfort zone. So they do things that they are comfortable with. Anything outside of that scope, they will feel threatened. Okay, so what about a growth mindset? What is the impact of a growth mindset? So a growth mindset, it leads to positive and empowered perception. And they seek to improve themselves through practice. Yeah, so it's a constant growth, a constant seeking of knowledge, right? So like looking at these two, I believe you would want to move towards a growth mindset, right? Definitely every one of us want to see ourselves grow, want to see ourselves successful and fulfilled in life, right? Here are some examples of a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. What are the internal thoughts? that the respective individuals have. Okay, so someone with a more fixed mindset is they will think like either I'm good at this thing or I'm not, right? And they may feel that hey, this particular thing I is really totally out of my ability. I won't be able to do it. But individuals with growth mindset, instead of thinking in such a way, they will feel that I can learn to do anything that I want. Okay? Although that skill set looks like I cannot achieve, right? It looks challenging and tough, but let me try my best to work towards getting the success or getting the goal that I want. Yeah. So here are some examples. Now let us do a very quick short quiz to test your understanding of some of the statements that is a fixed or a growth mindset. Okay, so feel free to type in into the comment section at the bottom right corner. Do you feel that the respective statement is true or false? All right. Okay, so the first statement, you are born with a certain amount of intelligence and it isn't something that can be changed. Do you feel it's fixed or growth mindset? Anyone would like to give a try? Do you feel that this first statement is growth or a fixed mindset? Okay, so I'll give about a few seconds, maybe 5 seconds more to see your answers. Right, I see Kelvin, he says a fixed mindset. Yeah, anyone else back to differ? Or all feel fixed is the answer? Okay, I see Serene also, she typed fixed. Yes, correct. It's actually fixed mindset. Okay, so we move on to the second questions. No matter who you are, there isn't much you can do to improve your basic abilities and personality. You feel it's a fixed or growth mindset? Yeah, maybe 5 seconds before we move on to the answer. Yeah, so even though you may not be able to type here, maybe um, it's still able to. Yeah, I see Serene's answer. Yeah, fixed. Yeah, indeed, it's fixed. Okay, so even though it may not be convenient for you to type here, but it's okay because it's also to test your understanding of this talk also lah. Okay, so I see Teresa also type fixed lah, and that is correct. Okay, we move on to the third statement. People are capable of changing who they are. You feel it's a fixed or a growth mindset? Maybe just 5 seconds for everyone to think about it. Okay, so the answer is growth mindset. Okay, so move on to the next question. You can learn new things and improve your intelligence. Okay, growth mindset. All right, that is true. It's growth mindset. Then fifth question, people either have particular talents or they don't. You can't just acquire talent for things like music, writing, art, or athletics. It's either you have or you don't have the ability. Okay, so 5 seconds is up. Yeah, the answer is fixed mindset. And then the last one, studying, working hard, and practicing new skills are all ways to develop new talents and abilities. Feel it's growth or fixed mindset for this? Okay, so the last answer is a growth mindset. Yeah, so well done, everyone. I think that everyone here more or less knows the answer for all of these. Okay, so how do you spot whether it's a fixed or a growth mindset? Basically, you see if the sentence has a can or a cannot. Is a I can do it or I cannot do it. Okay, so if you see I cannot, it's usually a fixed mindset. And if I can do it and I can use practicing and effort to do it, then it's a growth mindset. All right, so moving on. Yeah, thank you everyone for the participation. So an impact of a fixed mindset. Yeah, the drawbacks of a fixed mindset. Okay, so some of it will be like it triggers a broad range of negative thinking and feelings, right? So just now we mentioned, right, feeling really threatened, feeling inadequate, feeling helpless because you cannot change your abilities. You are what you are, right? Then also the second point is it actually limits your self-knowledge and self-awareness. Yeah. So when someone has a fixed mindset, they will be fearful of feedback, right? And when there's this fear of feedback and you don't get feedback from other people, then it limits the self-awareness and the self-knowledge. And this will lead to stagnation, right? Because like you won't be able to know what you're good at. So you cannot really improve much. And because of this, it will cut off a lot of opportunities. So why do we shift to a growth mindset then? Okay, so in terms of career, I believe tonight some of you may be still working, yeah, or maybe um, still doing some part-time work. And I believe this will be relevant to you. Okay, so up to 375 million workers worldwide will need to change roles or learn new skills by year 2030. Okay, so in face of these changes, right, in the job labor market, yeah, it's very important to upskill, right? Especially now technological advances is rapidly growing. Okay, so that's why the government is very nice. It's very I mean they really support us in terms of upskilling. So I think 2 years ago the government has been giving $500 skills future for us, right? As a startup pay. Then after that there is a top up of another $500. And right now for individuals that are age 40 and above, they get a $4,000 skills future credit top up for all Singaporeans that is above 40 lah. So why do they do so? Why do they promote upskilling in above 40 years old? Because upskilling ensures that our skills stay relevant and that increases our opportunities to work, and it secures financial stability and job stability as well. Yeah, so we see that actually in this current era, a growth mindset is so important in order for us to stay employable. Yeah. So talking about like not just talking about work, we talk about our current world. Okay. Yeah. So we live in this VUCA world, every one of us. Yeah. So VUCA, what does it stand for? Right? VUCA stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, right? So volatility, it means change that is rapid and unpredictable. Okay, so in our current world where technology plays center stage, is rapidly growing. There's a lot of different codes. There's a lot of development in AI, and it's very hard to catch up, right? Sometimes. Yeah. So in that sense, there's a lot of fear of comparison. What if I cannot catch up? Yeah. What if I get eliminated from my job? So there's this fear of comparison. And then next, there's uncertainty. So uncertainty would be things that are uncertain about the present and future circumstances. Things like inflation rates, economy, recession, and high cost of living. Okay, so all of these are really very real struggles. There's this fear of the unknown. What will happen tomorrow? Will I still have a job? Will I still have a rice bowl? Yeah. So we move on to complexity. Multiple factors that interplay and cause chaos and confusion. A lot of unknown factors, things like wars, pandemic. It can create a lot of fear of losing control. Yeah, like what should I do? Yeah, I cannot change the situation. It's just like that, right? Yeah, and then lastly, ambiguity, the lack of clarity about situations. Things like which job should I go into? What are the opportunities? Because it's constantly changing, right? This sector, yeah, the IT sector. And will it continue to change? Right? What about investment wise? Yeah. Will certain company have certain shifts in the in the market? So there's this fear of failure also. Yeah. What if I don't get a certain kind of outcome, then how? Right? So we can see there's a lot of fear going on, yeah, because of all of these VUCA factors. Yeah. But I want to highlight something is that we may not be able to change our circumstances. However, we can change our mindsets to benefit from these situations. Yeah. So that's why growth mindset is so important in this world that is a VUCA world. Yeah. Because a growth mindset ensures that we are adaptable and we are able to adjust to all of the changes out there compared to having a fixed mindset. Yeah, so a very quick run through about the how does a growth mindset benefit a person's growth. Okay, so first of all, it improves self and behavior over time. Okay, then next it will increase our knowledge, right? Our self-knowledge and our self-efficacy. It improves our relationship because we begin to grow in terms of our communication, grow in terms of the way that we relate with other people. Then last of all is new opportunities and ways to develop. Yeah, that will help us a lot lah. Right, so moving on to the last segment for today, how to achieve a growth mindset. Okay, so there are 3 steps on how to shift to a growth mindset. First one is being self-aware about your mindset, your thoughts. And then second will be increasing knowledge, skill sets, abilities. And last of all, tapping into our discipline. Right, talking about being self-aware. Okay, the more aware we are of our mindset, the more we'll be able to change the mindset and the thoughts that come along with it. Okay, so how do we develop a healthy mindset? We use the 3 C's technique. Okay, so not sure if any one of you heard of CBT lah, cognitive behavioral therapy. Basically, this 3C is part of that modality of counseling, right? But here are just some tips for everyone to consider, even though it's in a talk setting. Okay, so first of all, we will want to catch our thoughts because sometimes our thoughts are very unconscious. We may not even be conscious that we are thinking of a negative thought or we have a negative mindset. Okay, so after we catch our thoughts, we will want to check whether the thought is valid or not. And then third step is to change the thought. Okay. So some of the unhelpful thinking patterns in a fixed mindset. First of all, is jumping to conclusion, assuming that other people is thinking negatively about us. Like just now we say about the criticism, right? When other people give us feedback, it is criticism from them. So there's this jumping to conclusion that every time people give us feedback, it is a kind of condemnation, it's a kind of criticism. And then there's also low frustration tolerance as well, saying things like, this is too difficult for me. I cannot do it one lah. This is too much for my ability. It's unbearable. I can't stand it, etc., etc. Then last of all, the third one is labeling and mislabeling. Yeah, so labeling ourselves with things like I am hopeless, I'm useless, I'm stupid. Okay, so just now we talked about it, right? The failure label that the person internalized after the parents repeatedly tell the child across his life there's a failure. Yeah, so this is a type of labeling. So now we move on to how do we change, okay, using the 3C method, how do we change our mindset and our thoughts? Okay, so this is a fixed mindset thinking. She must be criticizing me when she provides feedback. Okay, so this is a type of jumping to conclusion. Others may or may not have the intention of criticizing us, right? We will not really know whether they really criticize us or they want us to improve or etc. etc. However, we can choose to focus on the content that they provide to us so that we can see whether I can accept this feedback to make myself improve to become a better version of myself. Yeah, so instead we can change it in a way that to think that I appreciate it when people give me feedback because it helps me to learn and grow. So this is the way that we change the thought. Okay, so the second one, I'll never be as successful as this person or that person. It's too difficult to be like that person. Okay, so this is characteristic of low frustration tolerance. So we can improve our frustration tolerance by beginning to accept and acknowledge that very often success does not occur overnight. Yeah, we can see that success as is a process rather than a destination. Okay, and it's okay to make mistakes along the way and to learn from these mistakes to become better at what we do. Okay, so instead we can think in such a way. I too can eventually be successful by putting in effort and into learning. Yeah. So the continuous process of becoming better and better, that is the way that we can think. Like, then last of all, I am such a failure because I didn't improve as much as I wanted to. Yeah, so here there's a labeling lah, right? That you didn't improve as much as you wanted, but it also means that there are areas that you have already improved in, right? So here we see that there is an overgeneralization of the failure label. Okay, so we should stop labeling ourselves that we are a failure, right? Because it's not the entire truth anyway. Yeah, but instead celebrate areas that we have already improved and show ourselves compassion in those areas that we need to improve in, so that we can feel more motivated to change. Yeah. So instead we can think in the way that I know improvement takes time and I can celebrate the small steps. Right. So we cover all the three thinking patterns already, right? Now we move on to the second step by increasing our knowledge. So the more we read and learn and improve ourselves, the bigger the momentum we will gain to seek further. The more hungry we will be for more knowledge and more improvements. Okay. Then the third key is discipline, right? So we can use our willpower to produce long lasting changes. So without action, all of the knowledge, all of the skill set, yeah, it wouldn't come to fruition. Yeah. So sometimes by having the willpower to start having a growth mindset, that is the key. Okay, so last section already, some tips to shift to a growth mindset. Okay, so first of all, we need to realize that scientifically we can improve. Okay, so maybe in the past you may feel that I'm very lousy, I just have these abilities only, I have nothing much. But now you can view it in a way that I am able to do it, that our brain is actually plastic and flexible. Yeah. So we are able to get different mindsets and mental capabilities across our lifespan, not only as we are growing up. Okay, so it's never too late to learn something new, right? As in the Chinese term, right, 活到老学到老, right? Yeah, so as long as the older you, I mean, even though you have already entered a certain age, you are still able to continuously learn, right? So by challenging ourselves with new experiences, it can help us to form or strengthen new connections in the brain and acquire new mental capabilities. Okay, so this thing called the neuroplasticity, I believe some of you would have heard it somewhere before online. Yes, so our brain is capable of constantly building new pathways to have more mental capacities. Right. So we move on to the second tip. Yeah, remove the fixed mindset inner voice. So just now we mentioned a lot, right, about the inner voice, the thinking, right? The negative thoughts. Yeah. So by using the three C's, we can address this inner voice. And sometimes maybe the first step is to, after awareness, right, is to directly change it to the opposite. Maybe you feel that I am a failure, right? You straight away change it to I am not a failure because there's something that I can still do to improve the situation and to become more successful and improve myself. Yeah. So this is it for the point. Then the third point would be rewarding the process. Yeah. So although the society often rewards our achievement, right? Yeah, you go to work, you do your job well, you get rewarded, you get promoted. But what if you don't, right? So it so to reward the process is more like maybe you have a certain goal, you want to improve certain skill set, right? So the skill set itself has a lot of sub skill sets. Yeah. We can acknowledge that we are actually improving in certain areas, certain sub skill sets, right? And every time we master a certain sub skill set, we can rejoice, we can be grateful that we actually can do it. Then slowly, as you have more sub skill sets mastered, you can reward yourself as well. And then eventually you will get to where you want to be. Okay, so the fourth point is to accept failure as part of the process. Yeah, to err is human, right? We have heard of it before. So we all make mistakes every now and then. Failure, setbacks, and yeah, is all part and parcel of the learning process and part of life also. So don't be afraid of making making mistakes and failing, because by able to to learn from these mistakes, you will be able to slowly improve yourself to get where you want to be. And then the fifth point will be to be receptive to feedback. Yeah. So to really expose yourself in a active way to feedback. Sometimes even asking other people for feedback. Yeah. So that you will know where to improve. And this will facilitate a growth mindset. And then last of all, to get out of our comfort zone. Yeah. So sometimes being in a comfort zone, you are just comfortable with the things that you do, right? So let's say you want to improve on your public speaking skills. Then maybe you're already comfortable with speaking with your colleagues at a meeting. Okay, you are very comfortable because you do it every other day, right? So that is already being in the comfort zone already. So if let's say you want to hone your public speaking skill, you may want to move out of your comfort zone by giving a presentation to a slightly bigger crowd that is still manageable for you, which is known as the learning zone, this green circle. Okay, so you can still manage, you can still feel challenging. Okay, but we have to be very careful that when we come out of our comfort zone, we don't immediately dive straight into something that is unmanageable, that is unrealistic. Like for example, you usually don't do a public speech, but suddenly you do a public speech to 1,000 people. I think you will freak out, right? You will have the stage fright. And then in fact, in future, you don't want to do any more public speaking because of that negative experience. Yeah, so when we do come out of our comfort zone, we have to be very careful that we don't over exert on ourselves. Yeah. So we have come towards the end of this talk. Okay, so just a very quick quote for everyone to summarize today's talk. Right? So we are never trapped by circumstances, only by our own minds. Okay, so the Chinese term 危机就是转机. I think some of you have heard, right? So crisis events can serve as opportunities for us to grow, to become a better version of ourselves. So with a growth mindset, crisis events can serve as opportunities for us to succeed, to improve ourselves. So let us embrace challenging circumstances that come our way and use it as an opportunity to grow and become a better version of ourselves. So with that, thank you everyone for listening. But before that, we'll have a Q&A section. Yeah, maybe Carmine can come up the stage with me.
Hello, thank you, Mark, for your comprehensive and informative sharing. So, personally, I learned the most when Mark shared about the two types of mindsets. So, the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. And also, I will continuously strive to have a growth mindset so that I can embrace challenges and continue to upskill and learn from all the feedback. And I also hope that everyone has also learned more about how we can identify unhealthy thoughts and ways to have a more positive outlook. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to type in the chat below and we'll address them accordingly. So now, let me ask Mark a question first to start the ball rolling. So how do we deal with people or family members or colleagues with the sign of a fixed mindset?
Okay, so this question is interesting. Okay, so every one of us is a mixture of both fixed and growth mindset, right? Just now we mentioned. So some people they are more prone towards fixed, some people are more prone towards growth mindset. So other people's mindset, right, we really couldn't change much. Yeah, it's beyond our control. But we can choose to manage our own mindsets instead towards a more growth mindset. Because once we adopt a growth mindset, it can help those around us to model that growth mindset. And it can also allow us to see the areas of growth mindset in our loved ones. So we begin to appreciate them more lah, in that sense. Yeah, so our first of all is to focus on our own mindset first. And then other people's mindset will also follow suit. Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking at the comments right now. So I see that Teresa says, "Thank you, Mark. Good tips." And then
Thanks,
Kelvin
Teresa.
Ho says, "Why I failed? Because I haven't learned enough." Yeah, so I believe today's sharing by Mark will actually allow you to have the kind of growth mindset and strive to embrace all your challenges. Okay, if you have any
Any
other
other
questions,
questions?
yeah, feel free to type in the chat below. So, okay, I don't see any new question yet. So I have another question for Mark.
All
Okay,
right.
so I have characteristics of fixed mindset. So should I make any changes? But does it also mean that I'm bad?
Okay. So it is important to note that having a fixed mindset is a part of all of us because we have a mix, right? Just now we mentioned. So in different contexts, we may be more of a fixed, certain contexts may be more of a growth mindset. Yeah. So we want to know that a fixed mindset is not a problem on a normal day. Okay. However, if in a very new environment or in a situation that requires a lot of adaptability, a lot of changes, right, then growth mindset will be more helpful and adaptive. Okay, so it doesn't mean that, I mean, to conclude, lah, it doesn't mean that fixed mindset is always bad. Okay, because sometimes having a fixed mindset, it allows us to know what we are good at, what we are not good at. Yeah, but in the long run, if we continue to just focus on a fixed mindset, then maybe we want to reconsider like adopting a growth mindset instead. Yeah, I hope that
Thank you
answers
for
your
that.
question.
Yes, yes, definitely it does.
Okay.
Okay. Well, it seems like it's pretty quiet on the chat now. Just now, everybody was answering your question when it was the short quiz.
Yeah, so feel free to voice out your question. Yeah, I think we have a lot of time still. Yeah, so feel free to really ask more questions if you have.
Okay. Okay, I think I have another question for Mark. This one,
Right.
uh, because people keep giving advice that it's good to get out of my comfort zone, but actually, how do I know what is a comfort zone? Like, what? How do
Mm.
we define like what is a comfort zone?
Okay, so maybe going back to just now, right? You mentioned about the comfort zone. There's the three circles, right? Got the different colored circle. Yeah. So for a comfort zone, it will involve situations that you feel that you are confident, you are comfortable with already, and you are able to work within that capacity. So even though you are in a new environment, let's say you change job, right? But if the job nature is more or less the same, still manageable, then that will still be your comfort zone, even though you change to another job. But then for like if you are talking about you want to move out of your comfort zone, then we want to ensure that it's something that is a new challenge, is out of the norm, is out of something you are comfortable with already. Yeah. So that is how we differentiate between whether we are in the comfort zone or outside of the comfort zone. Yeah. So I hope that this answers your question coming.
Yeah, actually, I'm already stepping out of my comfort zone by hosting the live. Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Okay.
Right. Any other questions from the floor?
Seems like there is no questions from the floor. Maybe they're taking some time to type in more
Hmm.
questions at the moment.
Coming, you have any other questions?
Okay, I still have another question. I think I have a lot of questions tonight because I really enjoy your sharing tonight because I also get to learn more about the fixed and growth mindset. Yeah. So
Okay,
so
thank
I have another question for you. So actually I've learned from my parents and my surroundings since I'm young and I'm still young. So is it possible to change my mindset to facing new challenges?
Okay. So you are saying that whether is able to change the mindset because all along since you are young, maybe you can rephrase the question again.
Mm, like I guess a lot of us we grow up observing our parents and learning from our surroundings. So sometimes
Oh,
we
okay.
may have a certain ingrained impression of how things should be
Mm,
done in a certain way. So maybe it could be
mm,
kind of like a fixed mindset. So
mm,
so I guess you mentioned that we should all strive towards having a growth mindset. But I guess
mm.
the first step is always the hardest, right? So,
Yeah.
and then you mentioned we have a mixture, we have a mixture of a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. So,
Mm,
is it possible for me to change, like tilt my mindset towards a more growth mindset when I face new challenges, like that
mm.
first instinct or first thought.
Yeah, definitely we are all capable of shifting to a growth mindset. Even though since young we may have a lot of beliefs, a lot of those fixed mindset beliefs, yeah, that comes from our past. So just now we have an example, right, about the child growing up, the parents say that the child is a failure and label him, right? So growing up he have that belief. But it's still possible to change to a growth mindset, and it's still possible to have new skills along the way to really grow in that sense, because there's this thing called neuroplasticity as mentioned earlier. So neuroplasticity basically means that your brain is continually able to adapt and grow and change in that sense. Yeah, so it's to answer your question, it is possible. Yeah, even until very, very old age, it's still possible that the brain is continually learning, continually adapting to new situations. Yeah, so it's possible, yeah, that the brain can, I mean the mindset can move towards a growth one.
Okay, and we
Yeah.
have Kelvin. So Kelvin says, "Thank you for your presentation. Uh, I taught my son to have positive thoughts all the time, despite having only ITE and diploma certificate. So he's now living a comfortable life and still searching for a better way. So Kelvin says that believe the positive thinking is in his DNA. So can I equate growth mindset to positive thinking?
Okay. I think yeah, thanks Calvin for sharing and asking the question. I think that there are some overlap in that sense because positive thinking is more of optimism. Yeah, but I think growth mindset is more of um yeah, I think there are some overlap, which means that when you're faced with certain adversities, you still have that positive thinking, which growth mindset also has. Yeah. I think growth mindset is more towards like really believing that no matter what the circumstance is still able to really tackle it, still able to move ahead. I think that is what growth mindset is different from a positive thinking. Yeah. Although both are healthy kind of mindset. Mm. Yeah, I hope that I have answered your question, Kelvin. But if let's say you have other further follow-up questions, you can also type down as well. Hmm.
And not
All
your
right, I see
answer
Shanshan.
actually.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
Shanshan,
say?
yeah. Yeah, so your answer actually leads into Shanshan's question. So Shanshan actually asked, how should I adopt a growth mindset when I'm very, very afraid of change?
Okay, so I think for Shanshan's question, first of all, maybe we want to find out about what are some of the thoughts that is behind this fear of change. Yeah, because a lot of times we feel very afraid, right? But we don't know what exactly is the cause of that fear. So to answer Shashank's question, maybe to really find out um, what are some of the core beliefs behind it, and then from there we can use the 3C method to change our thoughts. Yeah, if I understand that it can be very difficult at first to really adopt a growth mindset because usually mindsets are formed across time. It's a repeated pattern of thinking. It will not be easy in the first place to change it lah. Yeah, but I think that by being aware, that's the first step of why you are afraid of change. Then from there, we want to adopt some of the things we learned today, how we can use the characteristic of a growth mindset to change the thinking. Yeah, so I see that it's a rather general um it's a rather general question lah. But if let's say you have any um like you have anything that you would like to um like process through together, you can consider to scan the QR code for our counseling services. Yeah, so that we can explore more. Yeah. Right. Any other questions that we have from the floor?
Kelvin says thanks for your
Right.
advice.
Thanks, Calvin.
Okay. Can I have can I ask like a one last maybe not one last or one second last question for Mark.
Yeah, sure.
So can I ask, right? So on for as a counselor, I believe you have come across many different types of different people who comes and seek for advice. So
Mm,
for those people who have a very deeply ingrained fixed mindset, how would
mm.
you start to strike a conversation with them for them to open up their minds towards a growth mindset? Like what is the how would you start the conversation to let them adopt this kind of mindset?
Yeah. So for to answer your question, I think that we would want to really understand where their fixed mindset actually come from. So really understanding the root of it all first, and then from there we can see that we can see how we can really like motivate the client towards the change. Yeah, because it's not easy because all along it has been persistent. Yeah, but I think that um yeah, so by using the 3Cs method as mentioned earlier, the CBT approach, right? That will be one of the way that we can go about to encourage the client towards a growth mindset. Yeah. So it is a process, right? It won't be overnight. But then a growth mindset is always that eventually you will be able to overcome that fixed mindset, right? So it's that journey itself is already a growth mindset. Yeah.
Okay, Shan says,
Okay.
thank you, Mark. I would definitely like to find out more. Can you show the QR code again for the? I think it's for
Oh,
the
okay.
counseling.
Right. Okay. I shall share again the slide. Give you a moment, yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so here is the QR code. Yeah. So if anyone has any interest in finding more about our services, you may scan the QR code here. So I think that it also leads to other resources as well, such as our some of the counseling posts, counseling blog posts, as well as some of the services we do. And even there is also this tab that allows everyone to key in some of your encouraging words to our cancer fighters. Yeah, so there are many different activities in this QR code. Can slowly look through and really find out more about our services. Yeah.
Okay, so with that, thank you everyone for all your questions. And thank you, Mark, for your sharing and answering all the questions from everyone here tonight. I believe
Thanks,
everyone has
Carmen.
actually learned a lot from your sharing tonight. I myself, I've learned a lot from you. So I wish you a wonderful Saturday evening and a great Sunday ahead. Thank you so much, Mark.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. So it's like so it's now time for Mark to take his leave, but no worries. Before we close tonight's session, so I would love to get some feedback from you for tonight's session. So thank you for being here tonight and for participating. So we will want your feedback because we want to know what we can do differently, what can be done better, and what other topics you would like to learn more about so that we can run these events better for you. At this point, we will appreciate if you could take a moment to complete the feedback form for tonight's session. So kindly scan the QR code on the screen with your mobile device or click on the URL link in the comment section to give us your feedback. So we would really love to have your feedback so that we can improve the session. So upcoming events. So our next 365 Live will be on the signs and symptoms of liver cancer. Same time, same place here on our Facebook. So it's actually 13 July on a Saturday, 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. And also, 365 CPS has been championing early detection. That's also why we have introduced My First Screenings, a series of screening campaigns that empowers individuals to proactively take steps towards early detection and a healthier future. However, unfortunately, not everyone has access to these essential screenings due to financial constraints. So please help us bridge this gap. So right now, we are actually facing a critical shortage of funds. So if you are keen to support these initiatives and fund screenings, feel free to take out your phones and scan the QR code to donate. I'll give you a few moments to do so. Please donate generously as your donation will go a long way to help a parent, child, or caregiver to receive the treatment and support they need. And last but not least, do like and share our social media pages for the latest updates on our events, such as this 365 Live event. Once again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope to see you all in the next session. So please take care, stay safe, and good night.